In the desolate wasteland of the post-apocalyptic Fallout universe, where crumbling ruins and radioactive dust painted a grim canvas, a beacon of resilience emerged amidst the twisted steel and shattered glass. Atop a towering skyscraper, a small community had carved out an existence, transforming the once abandoned structure into their sanctuary. Led by the grizzled veteran, Marcus, the group had spent years scavenging for supplies and modifying the skyscraper to meet their needs. With each floor serving a specific purpose, they had created a self-sustaining ecosystem within the concrete jungle. The ground floor housed their makeshift workshop, where skilled mechanics and engineers tirelessly repaired equipment and crafted tools. The next level served as a communal kitchen and dining area, where the aroma of cooked meals filled the air, providing a sense of normalcy amidst the chaos. As one ascended the building, the floors transitioned into living quarters. Families and individuals had claimed their own spaces, creating cozy nooks and makeshift rooms within the labyrinthine corridors. The former executive suites at the top of the skyscraper had been converted into a communal lounge and observation deck, offering panoramic views of the desolate cityscape below. Among the inhabitants of the skyscraper was a young woman named Anya. With her nimble fingers and sharp mind, she had become an invaluable member of the community, specializing in electronics and communications. One fateful day, as she tinkered with the radio receiver, a faint signal pierced through the static. Mayday! Mayday! This is the Citadel. We repeat. Mayday! Anya's heart skipped a beat. The Citadel, a legendary pre-war bunker rumored to house advanced technology and a sanctuary for survivors, had been thought lost to time. With trembling hands, she amplified the signal and relayed the news to Marcus and the others. A sense of hope and trepidation washed over the community. The Citadel represented a chance for a better life, a beacon of civilization in the desolate wasteland. But reaching it would be no easy feat, the journey would be perilous, filled with unknown dangers and hostile creatures. After much deliberation, Marcus assembled a team of the community's most skilled and able-bodied members. Anya, with her exceptional communication skills and technical expertise, was chosen as their guide. Together, they embarked on a harrowing expedition into the unforgiving wasteland. Days turned into weeks as they braved treacherous terrain, scavenging for supplies and fighting off mutated creatures. The bond between them grew stronger with each obstacle they overcame. Anya's quick thinking and resourcefulness proved invaluable, helping them navigate the labyrinthine ruins and overcome unforeseen challenges. Finally, on the horizon, they spotted the unmistakable silhouette of the Citadel. A surge of excitement and relief coursed through their veins. They had made it. The gates of the Citadel swung open, revealing a bustling sanctuary filled with life and hope. The people of the skyscraper were welcomed with open arms, their skills and experiences adding to the thriving community within the bunker. Anya became a respected member of the Citadel's communication team, using her knowledge to connect the isolated outposts and provide vital information to the survivors. And so, the community that had once found refuge atop a desolate skyscraper found a new home in the heart of the Citadel, a testament to the resilience and ingenuity of the human spirit in a world torn apart by war and devastation. In the desolate wasteland of the post-apocalyptic Fallout universe, amidst the swirling dust and radioactive ruins, there existed an extraordinary haven known as Zephyr's Haven. This floating sea town, suspended high above the irradiated waters, was a testament to human ingenuity and resilience. Within the bustling streets of Zephyr's Haven, life carried on as normalcy as possible. The inhabitants, weathered and hardened by the unforgiving world, went about their daily routines with a mixture of determination and trepidation. Among them were three companions, Ilora, a skilled scavenger with a sharp tongue, Jackson, a burly engineer with a heart of gold, and Anya, a young medic with a compassionate spirit. At dawn, as the sun peeked over the horizon, Ilora ventured into the depths of the town's market. The air was thick with the pungent smell of irradiated fish and the chatter of traders. She deftly navigated the labyrinthine alleys, her keen eyes scanning for anything of value. Meanwhile, Jackson toiled away in the town's sprawling workshop, repairing and modifying the essential machinery that kept Zephyr's Haven afloat. His grease-stained overalls and the rhythmic clang of metal on metal were a comforting soundtrack to the everyday life of the town. Anya, in her white medical gown, tended to the sick and injured in the town's infirmary. Her gentle touch and calming words brought solace to those suffering from the ravages of radiation and mutated fauna. As the day progressed, the tranquility of Zephyr's Haven was shattered by a sudden commotion. A piercing siren blared, its wail echoing through the town. A group of mutated radroaches, their bodies swollen and their mandibles dripping with venom, had infiltrated the town's outer defenses. Chaos ensued as the monstrous creatures rampaged through the streets, their claws and mandibles tearing at anything in their path. The inhabitants fought back with whatever weapons they could find, their shouts and the roar of gunfire filling the air. Ilora, armed with a makeshift spear, charged into the fray, her agility and cunning proving deadly to the radroaches. Jackson, wielding a heavy wrench, used his brute strength to crush the creatures' skulls. Anya, amidst the chaos, provided medical assistance to the wounded, her steady hands and unwavering spirit bringing a glimmer of hope in the midst of the carnage. After hours of relentless fighting, the last of the radroaches lay defeated, their bodies strewn across the streets. The inhabitants of Zephyr's Haven had once again proven their resilience, their bonds unbreakable in the face of adversity. As the dust settled, the town slowly returned to its daily routine. The wounded were tended to, the damaged buildings repaired, and the streets swept clean of the remnants of the battle. In the fading light of the setting sun, Elora, Jackson, and Anya sat together on the edge of the town's promenade, overlooking the vast expanse of the irradiated ocean below. They shared their stories, laughed, and mourned the losses they had suffered. In that moment of shared experience and camaraderie, they found solace and strength. They were not just survivors in a desolate wasteland, but a community, a family bound together by the shared struggle and the unwavering hope for a better tomorrow. As the stars twinkled above them, casting an ethereal glow on Zephyr's haven, the three companions knew that their journey was far from over. The challenges of the Fallout universe would continue to test their limits, but they were confident that together, they would overcome whatever obstacles lay ahead. In the desolate wasteland of the Fallout universe, a flicker of life stirred within a cold, metallic vat. A lone figure emerged from the nutrient-rich liquid, their senses coming slowly back to them. They blinked against the dim light, their vision adjusting to the unfamiliar surroundings. As their eyes focused, they realized they were in a dilapidated laboratory, the walls covered in cryptic symbols and scientific equations. A single name was etched into the metal plate beside the vat, Sarah. Sarah, they murmured, testing the name on their tongue. It felt strangely familiar, yet utterly foreign. Driven by an unknown instinct, they stumbled out of the vat and onto unsteady legs. Their body felt weak and disoriented, as if they had been dormant for a long time. As they explored the laboratory, they discovered scattered documents and computer files. To their astonishment, they stumbled upon a digital record of their own creation. It revealed that they were a clone, created using the genetic material of a woman named Sarah Jones. A wave of disbelief washed over them. They had always believed they were unique, an individual with their own history and experiences. But now they were confronted with the chilling truth that they were merely a copy. Their mind raced as they pieced together fragments of information. They learned that Sarah Jones had been a renowned scientist who had dedicated her life to researching the effects of radiation on the human genome. She had died tragically in an accident several years ago. A sense of loss and confusion mingled within them. They had never known the woman they were cloned from, yet they felt an inexplicable connection to her. They wondered about her life, her dreams, and the circumstances that had led to her untimely demise. Driven by a newfound determination, they decided to venture into the unknown. They scavenged weapons and equipment from the corpses of raiders who had infested the laboratory. With a newfound sense of purpose, they stepped out into the unforgiving wasteland. As they navigated the treacherous ruins of a once great city, they encountered mutated creatures and hostile scavengers. But their training and instincts, implanted within their DNA, guided them through the danger. They fought their way through hordes of rad roaches, their Geiger counter clicking ominously as they approached areas with high levels of radiation. They looted abandoned buildings for supplies and weapons, their keen senses detecting hidden caches and traps. As they journeyed deeper into the wasteland, they realized that their clone status mattered less than they had initially thought. The skills and knowledge they possessed were not diminished by their artificial origin. They were a survivor, a fighter, and a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. They encountered other survivors, some friendly, others hostile. They shared stories and resources, offering assistance where they could. They learned about the dangers and challenges of living in the post-apocalyptic world. As time passed, they began to embrace their identity as a clone. They realized that they were not merely a copy of someone else but a unique individual with their own destiny to forge. They carried the memory of Sarah Jones within them, but they were determined to create their own path. And so, the clone named Sarah ventured forth into the vast and unforgiving wasteland, their past shaping their present but not defining their future. They were a survivor, a warrior, and a beacon of hope in a world ravaged by darkness. In the desolate wasteland of the Fallout universe, nestled deep beneath the scarred earth, lay Vault 101. Unlike its counterparts, this vault harbored a sinister secret, a macabre experiment that tested the limits of life and death. At the heart of Vault 101 resided the Respawn Core, an enigmatic device capable of resurrecting the deceased. With each passing day, the residents of the vault became unwitting participants in a cruel game of survival. As the sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the vault's cold corridors, a chilling announcement echoed through the intercom. Attention all personnel. The daily termination protocol will commence in 1 hour. A wave of terror swept through the vault as the residents realized their inevitable fate. Every night, they were subjected to a gruesome demise, only to be revived by the Respawn Core the following morning. The cycle of death and resurrection had become an endless torment. Among the doomed souls were Emily, a resourceful doctor, Ethan, a skilled engineer, and Jake, a hardened survivor. They had witnessed the horrors inflicted upon their fellow vault dwellers, and knew that time was running out. As the clock ticked down, Emily whispered to Ethan, "We have to find a way to stop this madness." Ethan nodded grimly. "I've been studying the Respawn Core. There must be a flaw we can exploit." Jake, his eyes ablaze with determination, interjected, "We'll do whatever it takes. We can't let them keep killing us." Together, they devised a desperate plan. Emily would use her medical knowledge to determine the best way to overload the Respawn Core, while Ethan and Jake would create a distraction to keep the robots at bay. As the hour approached, Emily stealthily made her way to the core's chamber. With trembling hands, she inserted a tiny device into its circuitry. A surge of energy coursed through the core, causing it to emit an ear-splitting whine. Meanwhile, Ethan and Jake engaged the robots in a fierce firefight outside the chamber. Explosions and gunfire reverberated through the vault, providing Emily with the cover she needed. Moments later, a blinding flash erupted from the core. The vault shook violently, and the intercom went silent. The robots deactivated, their lifeless bodies strewn across the floor. Emily, Ethan, and Jake emerged from the chaos, their hearts pounding with a mixture of relief and trepidation. They had finally broken the cycle of death and resurrection. As the vault slowly returned to normalcy, the survivors gathered in the common room. Emily addressed them with a voice filled with both sadness and hope. "We have witnessed unspeakable horrors, but we have also proven that our spirits cannot be broken. We have triumphed over adversity, and we will rebuild our lives together." In the aftermath of their ordeal, Vault 101 became a sanctuary for the weary and the wounded. The respawn core, once a symbol of torment, was now a reminder of their resilience and the indomitable human spirit that had endured the darkest of times. And so, as the sun rose over the wasteland, casting its golden rays upon Vault 101, the survivors embarked on a new chapter in their lives, free from the chains of death and filled with the unyielding hope of a brighter future. In the desolate wasteland that was once Boston, a cataclysmic event had transpired. The crumbling ruins of a nuclear power plant, once a symbol of progress, now stood as a testament to humanity's destructive potential. Stuffed to the brim with mini-nukes and nuclear material, the plant had been detonated, unleashing an unimaginable fury. The explosion had torn through the city like a raging inferno, leaving behind a charred and lifeless landscape. Buildings crumbled into dust, and the once bustling streets were now a twisted labyrinth of debris. The few survivors who had managed to escape the immediate blast radius were left to wander the desolate wasteland, their bodies and souls forever scarred by the horrors they had witnessed. Among them was a young woman named Anya. Once a bright and promising engineer, she had been working at the power plant when the disaster struck. By a cruel twist of fate, she had survived the explosion, but her life had been irrevocably shattered. Her family, friends, and everything she had ever known had been reduced to ashes. Driven by a desperate need for survival, Anya wandered aimlessly through the wasteland. Hunger gnawed at her stomach, and thirst parched her throat. The once familiar landmarks were now unrecognizable, and the landscape was treacherous. But even amidst the desolation, a flicker of hope remained within her. One fateful day, as Anya stumbled through the ruins of a dilapidated hospital, she heard a faint cry for help. Cautiously, she approached the source of the noise and found a young boy trapped beneath a pile of rubble. His small body was battered and bruised, and his eyes were filled with terror. Without hesitation, Anya began to dig through the debris with her bare hands. Every ounce of her being fought against the weight of the rubble as she desperately tried to free the boy. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Anya managed to pull him out from under the wreckage. The boy, whose name was Ethan, was too weak to walk. Anya knew that she couldn't leave him behind, so she gathered her remaining strength and carried him on her back. Together, they set off into the unknown, Anya determined to find a safe haven for both of them. As they ventured deeper into the wasteland, they encountered other survivors who had been scattered by the explosion. Some were hardened and distrustful, having witnessed the horrors of the apocalypse firsthand. Others were desperate for companionship and a sense of purpose. Anya and Ethan formed a bond with a small group of survivors who had come together to create a makeshift community in the ruins of an old schoolhouse. Together, they shared their meager supplies and worked tirelessly to fortify their shelter. But life in the wasteland was perilous, and danger lurked around every corner. One day, while Anya and Ethan were out scavenging for supplies, they were ambushed by a group of raiders who had heard rumors of their community. The raiders were armed and ruthless, and they were determined to take everything they had. Anya fought back with all her might, but she was outnumbered and outmatched. Just when it seemed like all hope was lost, Ethan, who had been hiding nearby, jumped out from behind cover and attacked the raiders with a makeshift slingshot. Ethan's attack caught the raiders off guard, and Anya seized the opportunity to fight back. Together, they managed to drive the raiders away, but not without paying a price. Ethan had been shot in the leg, and his injury was serious. With heavy hearts, Anya and Ethan returned to the schoolhouse and informed the others of the attack. The community rallied around them, and together they cared for Ethan's wound. But despite their best efforts, the infection spread, and Ethan's condition worsened. As Ethan lay on his deathbed, Anya sat by his side, holding his hand. She whispered words of comfort and gratitude, remembering the young boy she had saved from the rubble. Ethan smiled weakly and thanked her for giving him a chance to live, even if it was only for a short time. Ethan's death was a heavy blow to the community, but it also served to strengthen their resolve. They vowed to honor his memory by continuing to fight for survival, and by building a better future in the ruins of the old world. And so, in the desolate wasteland that was once Boston, a small flame of hope flickered on. Anya and the survivors she had gathered around her became a beacon of resistance against the darkness that threatened to consume them. Together, they faced the challenges of the wasteland with courage, compassion, and an unwavering belief in the possibility of redemption.